This is Tom Dillon, the Lifetime Liberal, and today is Saturday, June 12th, 2021. The title of this rant is, Whiteness is Busting Out All Over. So I remember this, every time June comes around, there's a song, June is Busting Out All Over. And of course, I'm pretty sure that came from My Fair Lady before the guy was getting married, where he says, I'm getting married in the morning, ding dong, the bells are going to chime, etc. And of course, Julie Andrews should have been in the movie, even though she was in the original recording from, I'm dating myself, possibly 1959. Basically what I am seeing as we're heading into June is that there is a very, very select few of my sisters and brothers who are white, who are in power in state, local governments, and in the federal legislature, who are making basically unbelievably outrageous, overt and covert attempts, and they're being successful at it right now, to codify, let's just use the term whiteness, or I could also use the term white power, white dominionism, to codify that as the law of the land, as we are accelerating to a multicultural society, and these are just like a few of the things that I've seen that just, make me curl. The big lie is still out there, prevalent all over the place, that Trump would have won, except for black people and people of color who stuffed the ballot box. And that has caused all of voter suppression bills. And yes, we know that all of these Republicans who are behind this knows that the big lie is real, is not real. And they're backing voter suppression because that's how they want to stay in power. And we know the filibuster has hundreds of years of history as being a totally racist way of keeping legislation from being enacted in law to basically help the average working person, which includes our sisters and brothers of color. And of course, we know that Joe Manchin is just full of crap because we know he is taking money from basically corporate America, white corporate America, who wants it to stay a white corporate America. And then I can think of Greg Abbott, the governor of Texas, who basically wants to build his own wall in Texas because he wants to be a hater-in-chief, just like the last hater-in-chief. Of course, he's saying this. He doesn't have any money for it, or he hasn't shown where he's going to have the money, where he's going to build. But again, he wants to show that he is a white person who hates people of color. And this is what he's going to do to stop those bad brown people from coming into the United States. And of course, Brian Kilmeade, who is a white guy on Fox News, basically didn't, quoting that they are trying to take our white culture. They are trying to take our white culture. I've also seen propaganda on social media basically telling black people they shouldn't get the COVID-19 shots because of all of the terrible things that could happen to them. Again, basically wanting people to die instead of getting a vaccination. And then there was a white conservative group out of Wisconsin who basically was suing the Department of Agriculture about $4 billion in debt relief that has been targeted to provide debt relief to black farmers and other people of color who are farmers. And of course, this white group is saying that it's going to incredibly hurt the white farmers. And of course, I remember reading 20, 30 years ago, or maybe even more, how the Department of Agriculture has had racism in terms of its loan programs that they started, let's say, in the 1930s. And so hardly $4 billion is a drop in the bucket compared to possibly the trillions of dollars that white farmers have gotten over the last 100 years or so. And of course, the critical race theory is to just basically keep any type of admission in terms of educating our children that white people have done some really terrible things to black people and people of color in this nation over the last 250 years. And it's basically telling me, again, that there is a small group of white racists in power. They are white haters, and they are having the backing of white, let's just say men, oligarchs, saying that we are a white nation and we are going to continue to be a white nation atop of the political food chain, so to speak, and we want to stay in this position. And again, this is probably the last opportunity that they will have to forestall a multiracial government, when at the same time we should be accelerating to a multiracial government so that we can have even more equality for all, and that we can provide for all of the average working American, both white, not both, but white and people of color, all the way through, a more inclusive and a more fair and just society. And the Democrats can't stop this alone right now. I'm glad to see that the Department of Justice has spoken up about that they will attack some of these voter suppression laws, but it may not be enough. This has to come from our esteemed Fourth Estate, because there is no both siderisms right now. And it must come from you and I. We need to stop this, and it must be done soon before they take all of the levers of power. It must be done right away.